on computer. Hi, I'm here with beautiful Michelle, and we just had the most amazing conversation. It seriously was like being on a podcast. And I was there to witness her doing a beautiful letting go ceremony. That was one of the resources that she came up with that would help her just let go of this last little bit of, it was vaping, which you came to see me for vaping, right? A little while ago, and we had RTT, and then we had 2 conversational hypnotherapy sessions. And you've let go of a lot of stuff, and a lot of wisdom and insight came up in the sessions about, what the vaping was really about. It was just a symptom of something else. So I just loved everything that you shared about, like, your story. You've had an amazing life story, and what you went through as a child, and then the relationship with your mother, and then how it's all just kind of unfolded naturally in the last few weeks. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share it with Samala. So I've been smoking and for a long time. I stopped for 10 years, but then after I stopped, I picked it up again. And then I turned to vaping because I felt it was healthier, but it wasn't. So for maybe 2 years now, I'm wanting to stop vaping. So I approached you, Samala, to help me with this process because I've tried the traditional hypnotherapy 2 or 3 times and it didn't really help me much. Then I tried the RTT hypnotherapy with you. And then I tried the conversational hypnotherapy, which I saw a lot of progress. So with the 2 combined, I felt that there was a lot of progress and shift in vaping. So I think my vaping was not due to me, the addiction itself. It was something that was not even related. It was issues with my mother that we found out through these conversational hypnotherapy sessions that we had. And I first realized that in our first conversation, where I told you that I felt like I needed to vape when certain emotions came up. So this fluffy, funny, lovey-dovey, feeling loved emotion was there. I wanted to vape. And I automatically linked that to my mother, who had left me when I was a little child. I think I was only 2 years old when she left me. Um, she did eventually come back for me when I was 6 years old, but she never actually told me why she left me. So I had this resentment, and I never forgave her. I was always really rebellious growing up. I made her life hell. I hated her. I didn't get along with her. I didn't, you know, look at her as my mother. I just saw her as someone that was there, took after me, and perhaps to also use me in some way. So after going through, the second conversational hypnotherapy session with you, Samala, I then found out that um, that not that I found out, but then it you suggested maybe, could I forgive my mother? And I remember saying, you know, maybe 80%, maybe 90%, but never 100%. And what would you then you asked me what would you do if your mother called and or messaged you and wanted to see you and hang out? And I said to you that I normally wouldn't reply for weeks, sometimes, never. So, but it's funny because 3 weeks later, after our second conversation, my mother messaged me and called me actually, and I picked it up. I picked up the phone. She wanted to hang out, and I said, okay, fine, let's do Friday. Friday we hung out. And I remember also in our conversation, you know, you did say, what about if you suggested, what about if you ask your mother these questions? And I remember saying to you, I don't want to ask because it's too confrontational, and I might just cry or I'm not ready to ask. Or I might just wait until, like a very casual moment and asked them just drop it in there. So anyways, that Friday came and I caught up with my mom, and it was nice. It was nice seeing her. I picked her up, we went and had lunch, and halfway through lunch she was talking, and we were talking, and I didn't feel any resentment towards her when we were talking. We were having like as if we were just friends talking and catching up after a while, after a long time. And she just suddenly came out with why she had left, why I had been left behind, why she didn't bring me to Australia with my older brother. So I had an older brother. She took him to a new country and left me in another country when I was 2. So, yeah, so she explained to me in just one simple sentence, and I didn't feel any resentment. I didn't feel any hurt. I didn't feel upset or anything. I just realized at that very moment that I had forgiven her and that everything was okay. And I knew there was a shift because when Samala and I were having that second conversation, when she asked me the question, um, you know, what would you do? Or would you actually ask your mother what happened, or just ask her what happened and let her explain to you? There was this ringing in my ear and this dizziness in my head. And then when I went for lunch with my mother, just before she had told me, why I had been left behind, that same ringing in my ear and that dizziness in my head appeared again. And I knew straight away that shift, that was like a sign of a shift, and that I had let her go. It was the past, and that was me forgiving her. And I actually said, I wrote down on a piece of paper as a part of the ritual that Samara was mentioning, that I burnt, saying that I actually forgive my mum 100%. So, and I feel, yeah, it feels great. I feel relieved. I feel self-love. I feel, yeah, altruistic love for my mum. And I actually do want to tell her too that, I want to tell her that I'm also sorry for treating her that way, because I didn't understand at that time and because I wasn't told why. But even yet, if she did tell me that during that time, don't think I would have been wise enough and old enough to understand. So this was like the perfect timing for that shift. And Samala was you were a huge process of that. If it wasn't for you, you were part of the process. You were like step 1 of the process.
So
Yeah.
amazing. I got goosebumps the whole time we were
Yeah,
talking
me
before and even
too.
now. It's
I'm just,
amazing.
yeah, I'm overjoyed, and I really didn't think I would feel like this. Like yeah, I really, there's been my whole life, I've just felt resentment, and I had thought that I had let it go. Like I had thought I had forgiven her, but I hadn't. I didn't. And it was all very superficial. But this feeling is like it's the whole weight off my shoulder. It's a huge relief, and yeah, I can't describe it in words, but it's really comforting, and knowing that I can actually look at my mom at in a different light.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've embodied it, and a lot of people say
Yeah.
to me, and at the beginning of a session or just even in life, oh yeah, but I've forgiven them. They've done all these things, but I've just forgiven them. Or I might ask, go through a forgiveness process, and then they start saying, I've forgiven you, I've forgiven you. And I'm like, we're not even there yet. Like, and they're just sort of rattling it off. But it's one thing to say it, isn't it? But actually to embody it and feel it. It's
That's
completely different.
right.
And if the feeling, when you feel something, you know, that you've done it properly.
Yeah. And not only that, I've actually invited her over the Monday following. So Friday we had lunch, and Monday she came over, and then every Monday she's gonna come and see me here at my house, and visit, her grandson. And that's the most I've seen her in like months. Like
Amazing.
2 times. in 1 week.
And I remember you were like, I was like, could you forgive her? And you're like, oh, yeah, 90%. And that's generous. You're like, that's good. That's a really good outcome. If I could forgive her 90%, you said, if I could forgive her 90%, you weren't even there yet. You were like, that would be I would be happy with that. And that would be a good outcome. And I was like, okay, it's fine. It's your process. Now you're like, oh, it's 100%. And it's great. It just
Yeah.
happened. And the fact that you didn't even have to do anything and she just told you.
Yes.
We're all connected through time and space, like it's magic, isn't it? You just have to have
Yeah.
the intention and the energies, and things start shifting. And she just told you had the ring in your ears.
Yeah.
And then it was that
She
all
felt it too. I think she felt it too, It took her 3 weeks, but she messaged me.
Actually 3 days ago, I woke up with an earache. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
So 4 days ago, I woke up with an earache. So I don't know, maybe it's like really random. It was the outside, and I had to put a hot
Wait,
water.
what was 4 days ago? That was a Friday?
I don't know. It was like a few days. It was a few days ago. Yeah,
Wednesday,
I could look on my calendar
Tuesday,
and find for sure.
Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday. That was a Saturday. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure. I have
Yeah,
to
because
find
I
out.
saw
But
it
yeah,
on Friday.
there's like weird ear things going on for me.
Weird things
Like
going on,
listening to you, like, come on, guys, do it.
yeah.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Maybe that was me
No,
sending
definitely.
you ear things like, come on.
Yeah, sending us the signal.
That's
Do
so
it.
cool. Yeah, something.
Yeah. And wasn't it funny when I burnt that piece of paper?
Yeah, we just did this ritual. So this is my therapy, goes above and beyond. I'm here. What time is it? It's like 10 o'clock at night, and I've just sat here, which I'm totally happy to do. I love it. I love being a part, and I'm so honored that you asked me to be a part of this with you tonight. And you burnt a piece of paper, and what happened?
So on this piece of paper, it said all the things that I wanted to let go and obviously burn and be gone with forever. One of those things was, letting go of vaping, and that I no longer need to vape. So as we were burning it, everything burnt really fast and really, really well, turned into ashes, except for the vaping word and no longer vaping. Those 3 words were still on the paper, and I had to try. You saw how many times I
It would
tried
have
to burn
burned. So like
that
the
it
paper
wouldn't
was like
burn. It
water on it or
just wouldn't
something.
burn.
This is like,
And then finally it did, and there was just a blank piece of paper left, like a little tiny bit, like maybe, 1 centimeter of plain paper left. It was a totally different color to the other burnt pieces of paper, like the ash. The ash was a completely different color. So I was like, there was something huge there that just didn't want to go. So it finally went. It's gone,
torched
and
it.
I feel, yeah, I torched it. We torched
Oh, you
it.
were like,
Die!
yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Like what we change something internally, and it affects the outside world without us having.
Yeah.
Then there was maybe a little bit there that was like, no, and
It
then
just didn't want to die, yes, and it finally did. Yeah. It
wow.
was, but that was huge. That was huge. And yeah, it was, I think that really signified that burning piece of paper that didn't want to burn, really, really amplified, the vaping part, the the difficulties that I had letting it go throughout these years. Yeah.
So proud of you, honey. You're amazing.
Thank you. You're amazing.
It's been so
Thank
much
you so
fun
much.
hanging out with
Yeah, it has.
hanging out and chatting, because that's all we do really. So hang out,
Yeah.
talk it out,
Yep.
we get it all out. And
Yeah. I don't even know when I fall into my subconscious mind. I really don't. I just when I'm switching, you see it, but I don't. I'm just talking.
yeah, it's interesting. And so
It's really interesting. Yeah.
rapid transformational therapy is different because it's like a journey. Would you say like the difference between the two? Like that's like a journey,
Yeah.
regression.
It is a journey, and it's, yes. It goes very deep.
Very
But
deep.
so does hypnotherapy, conversational hypnotherapy, but you don't know it. You don't know you're going deep.
Yeah. So in a way you're catching the subconscious mind unawares, and it's like
Yeah.
stuff just kind of comes out, and then all the
Yeah.
wisdom, and it's all coming from you, right? It's all coming from within you,
Yeah.
all this wisdom and things you just say, like, oh, did I say that? And then, oh,
Yeah.
wow, did I really believe that? And then,
And it'll come to you a few days later too, or a week later, or 2 weeks later. It'll be like, oh, wait, you know, I'm doing this because of this, or I feel like this because of this. And that's when that second phone call was really needed.
yeah,
Yeah, because I realized that was something else here as well.
another layer.
Yeah, another layer.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's what happens as well. It's like this weird organic processing that happens. So after you have the conversation, it's like things keep kind of dropping in and happening, another layer and then things. So yeah, it's powerful stuff. It's pretty amazing.
really, really powerful.
You did really
Yeah,
well. Yay.
thank you.
Awesome doing the ceremony on a full moon. Perfect
I
timing.
know, right? Didn't I say to you, I sense it's going to be a good time?
Yeah. I've been checking on a Michelle because I'm like, when are we doing this?
I know you've been saying, how are you going? How are you going? Yes, so thank you for following up with me because, I would have just, I needed to make someone else accountable for what I needed to do. And I knew I had to do this.
No, but
And
it's
and
your
tonight
resource.
was a great night. Tonight was a really good
So
night to do it.
it's always perfect timing. I always say that to everyone whenever anyone books in with me, if they're waiting or they're thinking about it, it's always perfect timing. Never worry. And I forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, always perfect timing.
It's always a good timing. Never wait. Don't wait.
Yeah.
I
And if
waited. I
you're
think I waited too long, actually. I could have done this weeks ago.
perfect timing. But it was your resource too. That's what you came up with in the session that you needed
Yeah.
to do. You were like, I need to do this thing. And so that is important. What comes up in the subconscious mind telling you. So your subconscious mind gave you this resource. You need to go and have a ceremony and write this out and burn it. So it was
Yeah.
important to do, and was all part of it. So
Right.
you did that tonight. And that last little bit wouldn't burn, and it was like your subconscious mind told you to go and write that all down and burn it. And then the
And
last
burn it.
bit wouldn't burn. And
Yeah.
the full moon. So it's all part of it. And here we are doing it. And I did it with you. And I'm excited
Yes.
to see that, especially that bit of paper that didn't burn. That was really weird.
That was so weird. I got the goosebumps. Yeah. But yes, I'm so glad you were part of the process. You definitely really, if it wasn't for you, I don't think this would have happened at all.
Thanks, darling.
I love you.
I love you too. And it was all you, right? Remember that, because you
It was
made the
me.
phone call. You're the one that
Yes.
contacted me, and you're the one that made the phone call, and you've done the work. You wrote the
I
thing.
wanted to
You sent it.
change. Yes, I needed the change. So, but you were definitely one of the tools, and the you made me realize what I had to realize and change what I had to change in order to be where I am now. So
We all
you brought
need.
it out. You
We
brought it
all
out
need.
of me.
Yeah, we all need help. I can't see my own stuff. I need someone to reflect things back to me, because we just can be blind to our own stuff sometimes. We get caught in a loop.
Oh yeah,
And we're like,
that
why? I
is
want this, but I
true.
don't want it. I don't know what, and we just don't even understand. It does take someone just to go, what about this? And then you're like, oh, all right, yeah.
All right, yeah.
Didn't think about that. It's so simple. I could just,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's important that it comes from within you, because when it comes from within you, that is the most powerful transformation. If I was to sit there, I could have sat there in the first 10 minutes of the session and said, Michelle, you just need to go and write a thing and burn it and just forgive your mum and just go and call her and have a coffee. And you would have gone, no, I don't want to do any of that.
No.
See you later.
Bye.
But
Yeah.
it might have taken a couple of hours of talking, but it all came out of you. And then you were like, yeah, it was powerful, and you felt it, and you were like, that's what
Yeah.
I do. So it's the most powerful when it comes from within us. And the best
Yeah.
therapy is our own therapy for ourselves, but coming from within us, and someone just reflecting things back. And no one likes to be
Yeah.
told what to do.
That's right. And I think from these sessions, we do know what we need. We do know what we want, and we do know what needs to happen.
We have all the answers inside us, but
Yeah,
can not
we
hear them.
do have the answers, but we sometimes don't register. We just like
We don't hear them.
we-
Yeah. Well,
we're not registered.
trauma can disconnect you too from, like gut feelings and wisdom. When you've had lots of trauma in your life, you can not feel those. And
That's
so
right.
having someone help you, recognize and feel them,
Yeah,
release stuff, that's all we need. It's quite
yeah.
simple, not
Yay.
that hard. But it's hard, but it's not that hard.
It was, I mean, as a therapist, not hard, but was yeah, for me to have realized that was hard. It was, it was quite emotional as well, and confrontational. That was very hard
Going through it like a chrysalis
going through it.
butterfly. But then when you've come out of it now, it's like, whoa,
It's
actually.
like that was okay. That was good. It was good. It needed to happen.
Mm.
It
And, then,
needed to happen.
and now
It's
how
a
do you feel?
breakthrough.
How do you feel now?
No, I feel great. I feel, relieved, um, not anxious. I feel like, maybe I had misunderstood a lot of things in the past, which now I just feel really silly about. Like, why? Why did I torture myself for all those years?
It's crazy, right? We might
Yeah,
have an idea about something and we go through our
yeah,
whole life thinking, oh, my mum doesn't love me because of this one thing, but we never actually ask them and have that conversation and then
yeah,
give them an opportunity to explain it. And they don't know what we're thinking and feeling. And uh,
yeah.
it's just, yeah, having those conversations. I know I did a training a long time ago called landmark
Mm,
education, and that was a big part of it, is that we would come to these realizations about things and we would call people. So they had
mm,
people in the break would call people they hadn't spoken to for 20 years and just say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that for 20 years I've been thinking that you thought this about me and I've been angry at you. And then that person would be like, I never thought that about you. That I don't know where you got that from. And for 20 years they've carried this thing around with them. And that person never thought that about them.
wow.
Hey,
Yeah, it's silly, right?
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, wow, for 20 years, I thought that my mum hated me
Yeah,
because she said this to me one day, but she's like, no, I didn't even said that. I didn't mean it like that, or, took it the wrong way.
yeah.
Mm.
And then what made me feel really sorry and really not guilty, but really apologetic as well. Like I feel like I have to say, apologize and ask my mum for forgiveness is because she was probably trying to be really strong and and not be vulnerable, not show her vulnerability, um, for having to leave me behind
Yeah.
and to have to deal with, you know, the emotional side of it, the sadness, the loss for those men for like the 6 years. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that would be, in my opinion, the saddest thing, to lose a child.
yeah.
Mm.
So I didn't see it that way. Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
happy for you, honey. I'm so proud of you. And thank you so much for
Thank
sharing your
you.
story with everyone, because it's really inspiring,
Thank you.
the
Oh,
mother-daughter
thank
thing, the child parent, story. We've all got one. We've all got
you.
a story about our parents.
Mm,
And when you forgive them, when you really can, you're just letting go of so much. And then you're all this room and freedom to carry
mm,
on in your life. So it's so powerful.
yeah, it is. I feel great and I feel, yeah, definitely feel relieved. So much relief.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And
Thank
give your mum
you.
a big hug from me and tell her I
I
love
will.
her.
I will. What day is it? Wednesday? Yeah, I think I'll be seeing her again on Friday. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's 3 times in 1 week.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
cool. All right. Lots of love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
bye.